Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, everyone. I hope you are having an amazing day so far. Before I get started today, I want to take a moment to briefly reintroduce myself. I'm Jen. I'm a money mentor and life coach, and I am here to support women who on paper seem perfectly successful, but behind the scenes are struggling with the hesitation that can come with managing money. I have been on both sides of the coin where avoidance has led me to question what's available to me. I've struggled with paying my bills. I've worried over what can happen and what can't happen. I've avoided it. But when I have allowed myself to have clarity with money, I have realized that there's so much more available. I have planned for where my money goes, and I want the same for every single woman. We are currently experiencing one of the greatest wealth transfers in history. In the coming years and decades, more money will be in the hands of women than ever before. And it is so important for us to know how to handle it when we get it. I help you to release old stories so that when you have the money, you know what to do with it and you trust yourself to do what you need to do. So we're going to talk specifically about that avoidance today and the importance in not doing it. When we avoid the numbers, when we don't look regularly at the money that we have in our accounts, whether it's a checking account, savings account, investments, when we have money come in surprisingly from an inheritance or from anything, a surprise check in the mail, if we don't have a plan for what to do with it, that money is going to find a place to go. And if we decide where it goes, how much cooler is that? When we decide what the plan is for that money, when we decide to invest it and watch it grow and help us build our future, that's the best thing of all. A story that I have from my personal experience involves my husband. We are actually just celebrating being together for about 9 years now. And about 2 weeks after we started dating, he actually confided in me on a trip back from meeting his best friend that he had a significant amount of debt. And I will never forget sitting in his car about halfway back to St. Petersburg from Orlando, where we lived in Florida. Well, we lived in St. Petersburg. And he shared with me that he had debt. And my first reaction was, oh my gosh, how can this be? How can you have this debt? And then I sat with it for a moment and I thought, how did you get here? And so that's what we discussed. How did he get to this point? How did he get to a point where he had lots of debt? 8 years prior to that, his mother had fallen ill and he was living in Florida, close to them. And he moved back in with his parents. He was taking care of them. He was taking care of his mom, supporting his dad. And he felt rather isolated and was working with people who were involved in golf, and he loved golfing, so he got even more involved in that. It is not an inexpensive hobby. And purchased things like a nice TV and a sound system and an Xbox, things that we still use now in our current home. So it was an investment in himself. I definitely will not hold that against him. But he didn't have a great system on how to manage it. How do I manage that money? How do I figure that out? And so we sat and we looked at it. And I asked him, how are you paying for this? How are you taking care of these bills? $30 here, $30 there. That was the thing that was the scariest for me, was that there wasn't a great plan. So when we broke it down and said, we have to pay this much, we have to pay it off like this is how we do it. We look at all of the interest rates and we go forward. When we had that clarity, it became easy to own, easy to acknowledge where we were at and where we had to go. So having that clarity allowed us to have freedom. We didn't have to stay in a place where we felt buried. We didn't have to be in a place where we felt we were uncomfortable or unsafe. We had the opportunity to learn and to grow and to change together. And because of that opportunity, we now know that we can handle just about anything. And this is so important for people when they're learning how to overcome any fears that they have with money, to acknowledge what the stories were to get us to the place that we are so that we can move forward. It doesn't matter how many times you pay off your debt. If you don't look at what caused it in the first place, you are going to return right back to where you were. So we look at the stories that got us there. What did you grow up with? Did you grow up in a place where you constantly felt like you didn't have enough, that you weren't cared for, that you didn't get to experience the things that you wanted to experience? If that's the case, then that's a story you get to change. You don't have to stay there. You get to move on. When we move on in those stories, when we allow ourselves to learn and to grow, we get to have something new to experience. We get to create a new life for ourselves. I want this for you and for all women because we do great things in the world when we allow ourselves to have that freedom of clarity. When we have clarity and intention, we can allow our wealth to grow. If this has spoken to you, I am teaching a masterclass next Wednesday on January 14th at 3 p.m. The link to my website is where you can register. It is included in this video. I wish you wealth and happiness every day of your life. And when you are ready to gain more clarity, I'm here to support you. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day.